Welcome back to another cosplay video. Today I'll show you how I made the bows for Sailor Jupiter. We start off by cutting the fabric out for the patterns, then taking the pattern pieces and adhering them to fusible interfacing. I apologize for the high resolution footage of my iron. I thought I had the camera propped up high enough. The patterns that I use for Magical Girl bows are exclusively from Momo Carino for the front bow and Sparkle Pipsy for the butt bow, printed at about 130%. I've used these patterns for every Sailor Scout I've done so far. Once all of the pieces are fused, it's time to cut them out. I kept this section short since it's sort of repetitive. After that, it's time to stitch the pieces together. I stitch up the sides of each of the bow pieces, work on the bow tie, as well as the tails. Some pieces were cut on a fold, and some of them were just two separate pieces that I sewed together. Additionally, off camera, I prepared a large piece of craft foam to serve as the structure for the bow, as well as batting pieces. Those two combined help make for a very fluffy bow that sits up straight. With the pieces sewn, it was time to fit them on top of the bow structure. First, you take the batting and fold it over the respective side of the bow. Then, turn the satin bow piece right side out and fit it over the structure and the batting. Momo's pattern calls for making notches in the foam right at the center to help make this process easier and make the structure a little bit more flexible. After that, I like to take the entire structure and run a basting stitch over where the satin, foam, and batting are all connected in the middle to help hold it in place before we apply the bow tie. Additionally, this is where I turn the bow tails right side out and stitch them shut. It's best to do this by hand with a ladder stitch. Because my hands tend to cramp for the tedious work like that, I opt to use the machine. Plus, hand sewing hell was coming anyways. The final step of any magical girl bow is, as mentioned, the hand sewing hell. It's so tedious, but it's worth it to make sure that the bow looks as pretty as it can be. I used just a simple needle and matching thread for this, and the total sewing time for both bows was maybe 6 to 8 hours over the course of 3 days. First, I will gather the tails a little bit with a running stitch and pull it taut to try and cinch them down more and decrease the bulkiness before I put the tie on. Then I will apply the same method to the main bow pieces. After that, I will wrap the tie around both pieces and secure it, making sure that the seam for the tie is on the back of the bow so that it won't be visible. I also apply a few tack stitches from the tails to the back of the main bow pieces to keep the tail spread, something Momo suggested in her various bow making videos. I don't think I captured it on camera, but I did apply the brooch to the center of the front bow. It's secured with pins that you'll see in the accessories video. But for now, aren't they pretty? Bows are pretty easy for me, and even though it was 5 years between making the last Sailor Scout bows versus this one, it was like riding a bike. The memory stays with you.